call this meeting into order. If we could just please stand for a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
In Irish blessing for our month of March. You bless me with friends and laughter and fun, with rain that's as soft as light as the sun. You've blessed me with stars to brighten each day. You've given me help to know wrong from right. You've given me so much. Please, Lord, give me too a heart that is always grateful to you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to do roll call this evening. Bernice Fiorella here. Mr. Hoke.
Here.
Mr. Gogolski.
Here.
Mr. Ensland.
Here.
Mr. Gershi.
Here.
Mr. Gambita.
Here.
Mr. Auckland.
Here.
Mr. Schaefer.
Here.
And Mr. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Barrett.
Here.
Ms. Gillespie. Here. Ms. Emmett.
Excused.
Mr. Gregorski.
Here.
Mrs. Donahue. Here. Mr. Pigeon.
Here.
Mrs. Miller.
Here.
Mrs. Bradley.
Here.
Ms. Watson. Here. Ms. Fitzsimmons. Here. Mrs. LaRosa.
Here.
Ms. Denike.
Here.
Mrs. Gregory.
Excused.
Ms. Liptak. Here. Mr. Seaman.
Here.
Mr. Denda.
Here.
And Mr. Black.
Here.
Okay. Yes, I haven't forgotten him yet. Thank you, Mr. Gershi. Matt Mayor is here as well. Could I please have a motion for number 5, please?
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held February 4th, 2019.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Gershi and then seconded by Mr. Hoke. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for number 6, please.
I move to accept the treasurer's reports from the general and food service accounts.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Gogolski and then seconded by Mr. Wood. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for number 7, please.
I move to accept the approval of bills from the general and food service accounts.
Second.
Motion again was made by Mr. Gogolski and then seconded by Mr. Wood. Again, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Any abstaining? Again, the motion does pass. Any questions on accounting of taxes? Okay. Mr. Gogolski, do you want to do the student recognition?
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight we have with us several students we'd like to recognize. We'll be recognizing the principals list students. And again, the principals list is representative of the students with the highest marking period average for the second marking period, the top 2 students from each grade level. With the rescheduled meeting, we had a couple kids unable to be with us tonight, but we'll certainly recognize and we want to recognize all the students for their accomplishment. Second highest grade point average in 9th grade, second marking period, Kaylee Romanowski. And with the top grade point average, Rachel Tillman. Moving on to the sophomore class, second highest average, Jamie Bryan. And the top average was Leonard Mayoko III. Our 11th grade students, the second highest average, Marilyn Ogoff. And Catherine Matter. On to the senior class, second highest average, Jillian Dudley. And the top average in the senior class, Veda Pontoski. Thank you very much. I'd like to also recognize all the parents in their efforts in backing their students, and obviously the tremendous work that goes into those extremely high grade point averages. So congratulations goes to all of you also. Thank you very much.
Great job.
At this time, Mr. Black, we have some athletic recognition.
We do. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to recognize the girls' basketball team, the coaches, take a stand, please, and seniors. So the Scranton chapter of PIAA officials have voted and awarded the team with the Sportsmanship Award for 2018-2019. And with it comes this, thank you, Coach, this banner, which will be hung in the gym. It'll join, this is our third time with the award. And of course, sportsmanship goes a long way beyond the wins and losses. It's how we represent ourselves. And of course, I want to commend the coaches and the players for a great job in the way they behave. Now, the award goes from the 7th grade program all the way through the varsity. So this really is a commendation, I guess, for all the coaches and all the players throughout the program. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to recognize, if I may, at this time, one of our wrestlers, Casey Taylor. Casey was our District 2 champion at the 160-pound. He is the son of Cassandra and Rick Holmes. Casey's been wrestling since he's 3 years old. He's also involved in jiu-jitsu and trains in MMA. He's a sophomore, presently a sophomore at this time. So, could recognize his coach, Scott Rush, and his mom, who's here. Why don't you guys stand for a moment?
Congratulations to all of you. You know, it's so, this is our favorite part as a board, is to continually see the students that come up, you know, quarter after quarter for their grades. And so it's really a special night, not only for them, but for us to really actually see them at Forest. And for the girls' basketball team with the character, to me, that goes further than any win. So great job on that. That is really up to the coaches. That's wonderful. Casey, to you. Nobody should mess with you, so I pretty awesome, even the MAA. So great job and congratulations, coaches as well. Good job.
I do have to say, in talking with Mr. Black about all of our athletic programs and our extracurricular activities, we get nothing but compliments when our kids go out to different venues. And it is truly, we're honored that you are representing us, because everybody is so impressed with your behavior, your manners, and just your overall competitiveness in all you do. So please keep up the great work. Thank you. Next, we do have a special presentation from our art department. Mr. Hayden is here with 3 students, Sabrina Sawyer, Rachel Butler, and Catherine Moore. Mr. Hayden, it's all yours.
Well, we'll go over next to the painting. So this is a painting that I created with these 3 students. This is going to be dedicated to the Veterans Memorial Auditorium. Each student will talk, but I'll first mention something about our layout and our design. We chose the 5 branches of military as the seals, and we had the students paint those. When we decided on the composition, we chose a triangular composition. So we have the raising the flag of Iwo Jima, the eagle, and the soldier too. So you have that triangular shape, and you have the soldiers on the bottom who are sacrificing and putting service for our country, and they're supporting the eagle, which is on the top, which is our liberty, our freedoms, that kind of stuff. So a little bit of a story about why we chose Iowa as we did for our painting. So each student will talk a little bit about their process.
Well, I'm Rachel Butler, and the way I contributed to this piece was I did all of the lettering for these emblems, and it was no easy task. I'm telling you that right now. But after all the hard work and time it took, I think it turned out great. And in the end, as painful as it was, it's for our veterans. So it's nice to give back to everyone that served for us.
I'm Catherine Moore. I helped with the emblems as well, like painting the base color and some of the details inside. I also helped with the raising of the flag of Iwo Jima. One thing I do want to say is that Rachel, Sabrina, and I all have family members that are veterans, so it was a really nice honor to dedicate this to the auditorium as well.
I'm Sabrina. I helped with the raising the flag of Iwo Jima, and then I painted like the stripes and the shading.
In collaboration with the American Legion and the Waymart Historical Society, we are working on a plan to fix this mural to the wall just outside the auditorium entrance for everybody to see as they enter. So that should be up in the next several weeks. We're just working out some final details on how we want that to look. And again, thank you to all for making this happen. Students, Mr. Hayden, this is tremendous. I mean, this is quite an accomplishment, and it's beautiful, and it represents so much. And we couldn't be prouder that you guys did this for us. So thank you, and thank you to those members who are here today from the American Legion and Waymart Historical Society. Thank you, and Dr. Johnson for your persistence. And
I just think, you know, I thought it was a great idea to have a plaque, but I have to tell you, Mr. Enslin came up with the idea to use our art students, and I think this is so incredible. No plaque could touch this, because when you look at it, you see emotion in it that no plaque could really have. So what you ladies did is truly a beautiful thing that will stay in the auditorium for a long, long time. So the work that you put into it really paid off, and it's beautiful, so thank you. It was great. Thank you, Mr. Enslin.
Like the reason I wanted the art students to do Mr. Hayden is I had a friend, she used to teach art at Crestwood. She was a commercial artist before that and started teaching Crestwood. And she told me that Western Wayne's art department is known throughout the whole area as being very good.
Thank you.
And that falls on you, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you.
yes, and I don't know if Mr. Hayden mentioned the title or not. You want to explain?
It's called Service and Sacrifice. Pretty straightforward. One other thing is we left this soldier just white. We didn't want to pick a specific branch to represent our male and female. We kind of left it gender neutral, as so to speak, so it could represent anyone. Maybe like a firefighter or a police officer. We just wanted to recognize everyone, and it was great to do, and it was an honor to do for our school. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. And finally, we have some staff recognition tonight as well. Recently, Wayne County Children and Youth recognized West Wayne School District as Service Provider of the Month. However, specifically, they want to acknowledge Sue Shlasta, sorry, Sue. Sue Shlasta, who is a social worker here in the district, and they, quoting the letter, it says, recently, we want to give a special nod to Sue due to her performance and extending herself and offering to be a resource for shared students in crisis. This is an example of Sue's typical responsiveness and proactive initiatives with students in need. Her compassion and willingness to go above and beyond is both recognized and appreciated. So, Sue, thank you for all you do. Very
So if anybody wants to leave, this is now where the boring part comes in, so you're more than welcome to escape while you can. And congratulations. And right
I would be surprised. Okay, how are you? How's Elena?
Yeah, no, go for it. Go ahead.
That looks great. Looks like a man. Thank you. Sorry. You're good. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want stuff in the way. Yeah, you can't stand that. Sorry, I'll rearrange.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Another one. Thank you. There we go.
This is your late. I was in Williams.
Anybody else make weight? Anybody else? Everyone else. What'd you have the night before?
Nothing. I had salad. I had a small salad. They're like, nope.
You got him next time.
Yeah, I got 2 more years. Almost.
2 more years to do it again. I didn't even recognize you. Excellent work. Hi, James.
All right, we're ready. Anyone from the public would like to say anything?
I had something to say if I could, please. Of course, we're all very proud from the community how much dedication the students have shown. They certainly have great patriotic hearts, and they use a lot of their time, which I know is very precious for them at this stage in their education. So we couldn't be happier as a community. And I know when I go around at Pride and Patriot Day parade this year, we're going to have a lot of things to celebrate because it's definitely a community effort, no question about it. One of the best things about this project is it brought together hundreds of people from this community to be part of this school again. And sometimes I think maybe in the past it was hard for people to connect with the school. But the patriotism in this community is awesome. We have decades and centuries of veterans to be thankful for. And now we have solemn words on a plaque, and we have the heart of our students to go along with the name. So it's definitely something kids are going to hold their heads up with pride that they come from a school like this. So I think our community did a very good job.
Couldn't agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you.
Wonderful, so thank you. Anyone else? Okay. The enrollment is there. If anyone- Also, number 12, can we have a motion for that, please?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the 2019-2020 school district calendar.
Second.
I'm sorry, Jeff, was that you?
Yep.
Sorry. The motion was made by Mr. Schaefer and then seconded by Mr. Gregolski. Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for number 13, please.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the listed early dismissal days for students in order to conduct Act 80 activities with their professional staff as listed.
I'll second.
Motion was made by Mr. Ensland and then seconded by Mr. Wood. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for 14, please.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the NIU number 19 budget for the 2019-20 school year with the estimated share from Western Wayne School District at $53,790.91.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Gambita and then seconded by Mr. Gershi. Any questions or comments on this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for number 15, please.
I recommend that the Board of Education authorize the business manager to solicit bids for purchasing fuel for the 2019-2020 school year.
That's it.
Joe beat me.
The motion was made by Mr. Auckland and then seconded by Mr. Gambita. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for number 16, please.
I move that the Board of Education consider the renewal of the following policy, section 200 pupils, subsection 210.1, possession administration of asthma inhalers and epinephrine auto-injectors.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Wood and then seconded by Mr. Gogolski. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for number 17, please.
I move that the board approve the following extension to the transportation contract at State Formula for the 2018-19 school year. Contractor Cabbage Transit and 101 Waymart to Western Wayne High School Middle School and Dean Christian Academy effective February 8, 2019.
I'll second that.
Motion was made by Mr. Gogolski and then seconded by Mr. Hoag. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Any abstaining? The motion does pass. A motion for